1 million pesos. A promotion that started as a dream for millions, but ended in chaos, tragedy, and revolt. In the Philippines, Pepsi launched a campaign so promising that half the country joined in. But when a simple mistake turned hope into despair, the streets became scenes of protests, explosions, and even deaths. This is the incredible story of how Pepsi soared to the top with a mix of relentless ambition and controversial strategies. The journey of Pepsi-Cola begins with Caleb D. Bradham, born in 1867 in North Carolina. Coming from a prosperous family, Caleb initially pursued a medical degree but had to abandon his studies due to financial difficulties. He returned home, offering medical advice to locals, and took up teaching to save money. His interest later shifted to pharmacy, which led him to open Bradham Pharmacy in New Bern in 1892. At that time, drugstores were social hubs with soda fountains, and Caleb's friendly demeanor made his pharmacy a popular spot. He encountered Coca-Cola, recognized its popularity, and saw potential health concerns in its ingredients. Inspired, he created his own cola, Brad's Drink. Using natural flavors like caramel and fruit extracts, it quickly became a local favorite. In 1898, Caleb rebranded Brad's Drink as Pepsi-Cola, a name derived from Pepsis, symbolizing digestion. Pepsi-Cola gained popularity, leading to the establishment of the Pepsi-Cola Company in 1903. Caleb sold 8,000 gallons of syrup in the first year, and by 1904, sales had doubled to 20,000 gallons. The company expanded rapidly, partnering with bottling companies. By 1910, Pepsi-Cola had 250 bottling plants across 24 states. By 1915, the company's assets exceeded $1 million. However, World War I caused sugar prices to skyrocket from 5 to 22 cents per pound. Betting on continued price hikes, Caleb stockpiled sugar, but prices then plummeted to just 3 cents per pound, leading to significant financial strain. Reduced production capacity forced Pepsi-Cola into bankruptcy in 1920. At the age of 53, Caleb sold the company's remaining assets and returned to his roots in pharmacy. He passed away in 1934, never seeing the global legacy that his humble creation would eventually build. Following a turbulent period, Pepsi was acquired by new owners who struggled for 8 years to revitalize the business. The 1929 stock market crash plunged the economy into a recession, leaving Pepsi with just one bottling plant in Richmond, Virginia. This led Pepsi to declare bankruptcy again in 1931, resulting in its sale to the Loft Candy Company. Despite having gone bankrupt twice, Pepsi found itself under new management. In stark contrast, Coca-Cola was thriving, having secured a contract with the US government to supply Coke overseas during World War I and the Great Depression. Desperate to recoup their investment, Pepsi's new owners tried to sell the company to Coca-Cola 3 times, but each offer was declined. Coca-Cola missed an opportunity to eliminate its future arch-rival. The Loft Candy Company then decided to use recycled beer bottles for Pepsi, reducing production costs and allowing them to sell 12-ounce bottles for just 5 cents. During the Great Depression, consumers valued cost savings, making Pepsi an attractive option. Pepsi invested heavily in advertising, employing billboards, skywriting comic strips, and a catchy jingle.
Pepsi-Cola, it's the spot. 12 full ounces, that's a lot. Twice as much for a nickel too. Pepsi-Cola is a drink for you.
As Pepsi's popularity surged, Coca-Cola sued Pepsi for trademark infringement in 1938. Pepsi argued that Coca-Cola was trying to monopolize the cola industry. Ultimately, Pepsi won and kept its name, later shortening it to Pepsi. During World War II, Pepsi rebranded with patriotic colors and launched the Your Man in Service campaign, installing recording booths across the U.S. for soldiers to send messages home.
Hello, Mrs. Fowler. The Pepsi-Cola come in. Happy to be the voice your husband be at Camp Claiborne, Louisiana.
Hello, honey. Yep, this is me again. Drink a scepter from me and keep those home fires burning. If you can't come in February, maybe you can come in March to stay. Give my love to all of our folks, and remember, darling, I love you devotedly.
This generated goodwill and patriotism. In the 1940s, Pepsi marketed directly to the African American community, hiring an all-black sales team. This was groundbreaking, as most competitors ignored the significant market. Through innovative advertising strategies, Pepsi emerged from World War II stronger and poised for even greater achievements. In 1950, Pepsi appointed Alfred Steele as the new CEO, a decision that stirred some controversy due to his previous role as vice president of Coca-Cola. Alfred's expertise in the cola industry allowed him to implement significant changes at Pepsi quickly. Alfred placed a strong emphasis on grand advertising campaigns and major sales promotions. He introduced glamorous women into Pepsi's advertisements, capitalizing on his marriage to the famous actress Joan Crawford, who became a prominent face of the brand. Her endorsement, coupled with her Hollywood fame, significantly boosted Pepsi's sales. Alfred also pushed for a complete redesign, including a new logo and a stylish swirl bottle. These branding changes helped Pepsi shed its poor man's cola image, making the brand appear more upscale and desirable. He empowered his teams by giving them more autonomy, fostering innovation within the company. These strategic moves propelled Pepsi's sales from $1.6 million in 1950 to an impressive $11.5 million by 1958, establishing Alfred Steele as one of the most successful CEOs in Pepsi's history. Unfortunately, his tenure was cut short by a heart attack in 1959. Leadership then passed to Don Kendall, a dedicated Pepsi employee who had worked his way up from a syrup salesman to CEO. One of Don's surprising decisions was to introduce Pepsi to the Soviet Union, a vast and untapped market that Coca-Cola had yet to enter due to the Cold War and restrictions imposed by the House Un-American Activities Committee. In 1959, Pepsi introduced its brand to the Soviet Union at the American National Exhibition in Moscow, thanks to U.S. President Eisenhower's Cultural Exchange Initiative. Don Kendall seized the opportunity, and a historic photograph captures Soviet leader Khrushchev sampling Pepsi for the first time. Pepsi negotiated a deal to trade Stolichnaya vodka for Pepsi concentrate, bypassing currency issues due to the controlled Soviet ruble. This system worked well until 1979, when declining vodka sales prompted Pepsi to seek alternative payment methods. In 1989, inaccurate reports claimed Pepsi accepted decommissioned warships from the Soviet government, but in reality, they negotiated for commercial freight ships. These plans were impacted when the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. Despite challenges, Pepsi maintained a strong presence in Eastern Europe, particularly in Russia, expanding by acquiring major Russian brands. However, Pepsi's relationship with Russia ended in 2022 following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, prompting Pepsi to cease manufacturing in Russia and conclude a decades-long unique relationship. Pepsi soon realized that selling beverages alone was not enough to satisfy their ambitions. They identified an opportunity in expanding into the snack food market, understanding that their customers often purchased snacks and soda together. This led to the strategic merger with the snack company Frito-Lay in 1965, forming a new corporation called PepsiCo. This merger combined the brand's sales of over $500 million, and within 5 years, they reached $1 billion in sales. This merger was mutually beneficial. Both companies knew that uniting to form a larger entity would facilitate faster expansion into new markets and allow them to pool resources for global growth. Today, PepsiCo owns a vast array of brands, including Lay's, Gatorade, Cheetos, Aquafina, Quaker Oats, Mountain Dew, Doritos, Cap'n Crunch, and Rockstar, among many others. PepsiCo didn't stop at food and beverages. They also acquired 3 of the top 10 restaurant chains in the United States: Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, and KFC. Naturally, these restaurants switched from selling Coca-Cola to exclusively serving Pepsi products. However, this strategy backfired somewhat. The competitive fast food industry diverted PepsiCo's resources away from more profitable products. Furthermore, rival fast food chains were reluctant to sell Pepsi, as it felt like supporting a competitor due to PepsiCo's ownership of KFC. This led PepsiCo to spin off its restaurant chains into a separate company, although they continued to expand into other industries, such as acquiring the sporting goods company Wilson. Ultimately, PepsiCo refocused on their core strengths in beverages and snacks, leading to continued profit growth. Despite this success, they were about to face one of the biggest marketing disasters in history, which would result in significant financial consequences.
Just buy any Pepsi product, look under their caps or crowns, you can win up to 1,000 pesos.
In 1992, Pepsi launched a promotional campaign in the Philippines called Number Fever. This contest involved printing numbers between 1 and 999 on Pepsi bottle caps. Every night, a winning number was announced on the evening news. Those holding the corresponding bottle caps could redeem them for a prize. While most prizes were modest, the grand prize of 1 million pesos, approximately $50,000, more than 600 times the average monthly salary in the Philippines, was life-changing. The contest quickly became a national sensation, with about half the population participating, collecting Pepsi bottle caps in hopes of winning. Some participants even scoured the streets and rummaged through trash to find discarded bottle caps. Pepsi's campaign, managed by a computer system designed to control the distribution of winning numbers, initially allowed for only 2 grand prize winners, ensuring the budget remained intact. Due to the contest's overwhelming success, Pepsi extended it by 5 weeks. However, this extension caused a catastrophic glitch in the computer system. On May 25, 1992, Pepsi announced the winning number for the grand prize, 349. Instead of the expected 2 winners, over 600,000 bottle caps bore the number 349 due to the glitch. When the winning number was revealed, hundreds of thousands of Filipinos celebrated, believing they had won the grand prize. The announcement led to widespread euphoria, with many converging on Pepsi factories to claim their winnings, causing chaos that required police intervention. Facing an impossible payout of over $30 billion, which would have bankrupted the company, Pepsi declared the winning number a mistake. As a goodwill gesture, they offered 500 pesos, about $18, to each person with a winning bottle cap. This meager compensation incited anger and disappointment, leading to riots. Tragically, these riots resulted in numerous injuries and 5 deaths. A group of winners, known as Coalition 349, sued Pepsi, but the company only had to pay a nominal fine of 150,000 pesos, insignificant compared to the millions in profits from the campaign. To many, Pepsi's actions were seen as a cruel bait and switch, providing a glimmer of hope to those in poverty, only to snatch it away. Adding to the controversy, some reports suggested Pepsi may have hired mercenaries to bomb their own trucks, framing Coalition 349 to damage their credibility. Though Pepsi denied these allegations, the incident remains a dark chapter in its history, highlighting the severe consequences of corporate negligence. Beyond this problematic promotion, Pepsi also found itself embroiled in other controversies. In 1996, they launched the Pepsi Stuff Catalog campaign, allowing customers to exchange points from purchasing Pepsi products for prizes. The campaign's commercial humorously suggested that 7 million points could be exchanged for a Harrier jet. Business student John Leonard took the offer seriously, and after securing funding, attempted to claim the jet. Pepsi argued that the commercial was a joke and refused. Leonard sued for false advertising, but the court sided with Pepsi, which then amended the commercial to include "just kidding" and increased the jet's cost to 700 million points. Pepsi's history of controversial ads extends beyond these campaigns. A Mountain Dew ad was labeled the most racist ad in history, and the infamous 2017 Live for Now commercial, featuring Kendall Jenner, was criticized for trivializing serious protests and social issues, further tarnishing Pepsi's reputation. Despite these missteps, PepsiCo has also orchestrated some of the most successful marketing campaigns ever. The fierce rivalry between Coca-Cola and Pepsi, famously dubbed the Cola Wars, saw both companies relentlessly trying to outdo each other through advertisements. As the 2 largest soft drink companies globally, Pepsi often found itself playing catch-up to Coca-Cola. However, in 1975, Pepsi nearly gained the upper hand with the introduction of the Pepsi Challenge. This was a blind taste test where participants sampled 2 unlabeled cups, one containing Coca-Cola and the other Pepsi, and indicated their preference.
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
I like Pepsi a lot better.
Pepsi tastes better.
The results showed that slightly more people favored Pepsi. Capitalizing on this, Pepsi launched extensive ad campaigns proclaiming that people preferred Pepsi in blind taste tests. Initially, Coca-Cola dismissed these claims as biased, but after conducting their own tests, they found similar results. More people did indeed prefer Pepsi when brand labels were removed. This discovery suggested that Coca-Cola's market dominance was largely due to brand loyalty. The revelation unsettled Coca-Cola, prompting them to introduce a new formula called New Coke in 1985, which performed better than Pepsi in blind taste tests. However, this move backfired spectacularly. Coca-Cola received a flood of angry letters and phone calls from fans demanding the return of the original recipe. The backlash forced Coca-Cola to revert to the original formula, rebranded as Coca-Cola Classic. Interestingly, this episode worked in Coca-Cola's favor. The joy and relief of fans having their beloved original taste back significantly boosted brand loyalty. The conversation shifted from the Pepsi challenge to the triumphant return of Coca-Cola Classic. Despite Pepsi's numerous achievements over the years, in the enduring battle between Coke and Pepsi, Coca-Cola's brand ultimately remains the frontrunner. But if you think the Cola Wars are the only example of companies dominating their markets with strategy and innovation, think again. Watch this video to discover how Red Bull really makes its money, and you'll see that their success goes far beyond just selling energy drinks.